Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Synthesizer Spotlight, the video series where I take a look at different synthesizers and try to answer the question, does it work with an EWI? Today's a very special episode. Not only are we once again filming at the University of Toronto, but we're taking a look at the Roland JP8080 synthesizer. This synthesizer was popular in the late 90s and early 2000s, and it gave us a lot of really cool tracks like Sandstorm by Darude. I'm not going to be trying to play that track for you today, my double tonguing is not up to par, but hopefully I'll play some other cool sounds for you and we can decide together whether this synthesizer works well with electronic wind instruments. Let's check it out. So here's a variation on patch 21, Reezo Pad. And yeah, I'd say it works pretty good for the EWI, but I put a lot of work into making it that way, so let me show you what I did. So this is what it sounds like before you do any programming on it. And I decided to start with this patch because it's fairly straightforward as sounds go on this synthesizer, so it's pretty close to having an initialized patch that we can work with. So first things first, legato, a little bit of portamento. So that's feeling pretty nice under the fingers, but the attack isn't quite what I want it to be, so I'm just gonna move these faders a little bit and just kind of like reset this nice amp envelope shape that I like to have for EWI stuff. So nice, now there's actually like a snappier attack, which is nice. That gives us more control when we actually control the filter with our breath later, so that's good. I'm going to just reset this LFO over here so it's not panning from side to side so much. Okay, so now's a good time to talk about assigning different parameters of the synthesizer to breath control. This thing responds to two messages, breath control and aftertouch. I thought I was going crazy because I was mapping the cutoff frequency of the filter to breath control, but instead of it increasing as I was blowing harder, it would start high and then decrease. So it was like the opposite of what usually happens. And eventually, after looking in the manual, I found out that I need to be mapping aftertouch to that instead. And honestly, I'm not even sending breath control messages at this point because they just do the opposite of what I would expect them to do. So anyway, we're going to assign this to the filter cutoff by first moving this into the position that we want it to be without any signal, hitting Control Assign, and then moving it to the maximum position that we want it to be at when there's full signal. And then once that's done, we hit Control Assign again. And now we hit breath control. It's really nice. So now that that's all sorted out, I think it's a good time to just kind of go through the oscillators and see what they have to offer. So that's what the super saw sounds like. These control dials over here are contextual, so they do different things depending on what waveform you're on. So for super saw, this dial is detune, and this is like the mix, so how much that detunedness is mixed into the sound. So for triangle mod, looks like this is offset and this is LFO1 depth. Kind of neat. For noise, this is cutoff frequency and resonance. So if we put the resonance all the way to the top, we can kind of tune that note with the cutoff frequency, and then kind of play it like that. I really like that sound. Could be nice to mix this with another waveform over here in oscillator 2. And we can do that with this balance dial. So right now it's all the way over on oscillator 1, so we can put it half and half. So now we have a little bit of this square wave with this noise mixed in. I actually really like that. But moving on, feedback oscillator. I'm pretty excited about this one. We got harmonics and feedback amount. Dope. Super dope. Really, really awesome. I love how that kind of makes it like polyphonic in a way. And you can make it even more so by adding a little bit of oscillator 2 in. So now we're on the pulse wave. You know, this is going to be pulse width, yeah, and pulse width modulation depth. That's pretty cool. Nice, lovely little saw wave here. I guess this is just a normal saw wave as opposed to a super saw wave. I guess the difference is in the controls here. Instead of detune, we have shape and LFO1 depth. And for triangle, we've got shape and also LFO1 depth. So now let's check out oscillator 2, so I'll put this all the way over to the oscillator 2 side. So now we're hearing this pulse wave. Saw wave. Triangle. And noise. So I'm guessing these all have the same controls 1 and 2 as their respective counterparts over here in the oscillator 1 panel. But in addition, we got a fine-tune dial and kind of just like a, whatever the opposite of a fine-tune dial is over here. So if we put this dial to the center now, we're hearing equal parts oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. So let's pretend we want to make, say, a super square. So we got 2 square waves in octaves, and we can pull it even further apart. This one's down 2 octaves now. So I could mess with these dials all day, and trust me, I really want to, and I think that just answers the question, is this synthesizer good for electronic wind instruments? Kind of similar to my recent video about the Arturia Mini Brute, I kind of just feel like I'm just scratching the surface with this thing, but unlike the Mini Brute, I don't feel as though I'm getting any zipper noise from the filter, which is really nice. And what really excites me about this one is that you can actually assign multiple dials to your breath control. So we were kind of just experimenting with controlling the cutoff and then controlling the tone by using the different oscillators and modulation capabilities with the LFOs, but we could actually set this up so that the breath is controlling not only the cutoff frequency but also the resonance to a certain point, and then any other parameter as well, such as the balance between the 2 oscillators or any of these control dials, which is just like really exciting. And I'm kind of just stoked that this technology existed like way back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It's always kind of humbling to me to realize how long ago really smart people were doing really smart things with computers before they were even anything like the computers that we have today. And this synthesizer, it's a computer. It's not a very advanced one, but despite that, you can do incredible things with it, make incredible music with it, and yeah, I would 100% recommend picking up one of these if you ever have the chance. I don't think these are very readily available, and if you manage to find one, I'm not sure how much you would have to spend on it, but I want one, so yeah, please like and subscribe. That's it for this video. Hope you found it to be helpful and interesting. Stay tuned for future episodes of Synthesizer Spotlight and any other random videos that I might be putting out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.